Hey, welcome to the Crazy Draped Podcast Show. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is where you get your sports news about Detroit sports and other sports around the world, especially MLB baseball. I'm just going to touch on base a little bit on that itself, but we're going to talk about the Detroit Lions, folks. We're going to talk about a little bit recap of what's happening here. So, obviously, there's been talk about David Montgomery maybe leaving, maybe going somewhere else because of the of Brad Holmes' detailing of his experience as a Detroit Lion, maybe more of a avenue for him to go somewhere else, get more use to go somewhere. I said in my past episode that I think Detroit needs to keep Montgomery along with Gibbs. Obviously, the two combos work out better, 1 and 2 punches, so on and so forth. Obviously, Gibbs is going to give you the speed, the adrenaline. Montgomery is going to give you the hard, tough yards of 4 or 5 yards, and maybe break out a couple of runs along the way. Again, Detroit didn't use much of Montgomery this year because of the offense coordinator. Dan Campbell had to take over, and along with John Moran, unable to do anything within the first 10 games of the season, even though they did score about roughly like 27, 28 points per game. But the use of play calls was hurting Detroit. Dan Campbell tried to do his best, could not really manufacture anything that's a hit, a consistency that he needed. Dan Campbell needed to be in front of the defense of helping Kelvin Shepard. Could not be doing a multitask work when he was solely just working on the offense coordinator, calling play calls. So where does this lead us? All right. So I got to talk about these two guys. So we got the guy to the left is Drew Petzing, and then the guy to the right, it's Mike McDaniel. Now, Detroit Lion fans, we were thinking that Mike McDaniel was going to come to Detroit. There was a lot of hype about his innovation of the offensive play calls, his experience as a head coach, everything that kind of just fit in, everything else with it, especially when he was first started with the Dolphins in 22-23 season. It was just a team that Dolphins just went off on fire. Last 2 years, they didn't do so well. He got fired. It was a late. He got fired for some couple days, a week, at least a week or two after Black Monday, when coaches get released from their duties. Drew Petzing is a traveling man. Started with Minnesota Vikings 2014 through 2019, and then he went to Cleveland Browns for 2020 season all the way down to 2022 as a quarterback, tight end coach. He was a Cardinals for last 3 years, 23, 24, and 25. He was obviously was released because of the coach, Jonathan Gannon, was fired. But I'm going to look at these numbers with you guys about Mike McDaniel. In 2024, he had 448 rushes and 591 passes. So the rushes was 43%, and the passes was 57%. If you look at his 2025 season, he had 432 rushes and in about 2,044 yards put together. With the passing was 479 to 3,322 yards, 54% for passing, and then 47 for running for the rushing game. However, when you look at the 2025 tight ends ratio, it was only at 21 to 22%. So that means that was of the whole plays and all that, it was 1 out of 5 passes to a tight end. The 67 targets in total to Darwin Walker and to Greg Dunlich. So what does this tell us? This tells us that Mike McDaniel might have not been a good fit, just the way that Detroit should be a heavier running team, concerning they have Montgomery and Gibbs, and then they didn't, and then Mike McDaniel did not have their quarterback Tua throw it to the tight end as much. And with Drew Petzing, he in 2024 he had a top 8 offense in the league. In that same year, Trey McBride, the tight end for the Cardinals, got 28% of the targets. So that means that the Cardinals were throwing the ball to a tight end 1 out of 3 times. The reason why I'm concentrating on the tight end stuff is because uh, Detroit needs to put the tight end in position where they're using the whole field and they're using all the players as much as possible. Yes, it'd be nice if we just threw the ball to St. Brown and he was open all the time. It'd be nice if Jameson Williams was always running down the field, catching 45-yard passes, bombs away. And Isaac Tesla, it would have been great if he was, just the unit, a wideout that was just kind of just floating around and getting wide open because no one was paying attention to him. That in itself sounds fantastic. If we were in the world of make believe, okay. But the tight end for Detroit played a huge fundamental part. Remember when we had T.J. Hawkinson? He was pretty much catching a lot of passes, quite not the best blocker, but with Laporta, he was that guy. He was that guy that you could throw the ball to. He could block. He could get open. They tried to compare him to Gronk of the Patriots, but that is a far fetch to it. So if you look at the 2024 season, Petzing of the Cardinals, they threw the ball. Well, they gave the ball to receiver 45% of times. They gave the ball to the tight end, targeted the tight end 35% of the times, and only targeted 20% of the rushing. Now, I would take that rushing is going to be a little higher in Detroit because of Gibbs and Montgomery. Again, assuming that Montgomery is going to be in Detroit. So that's something that you got to really look into. And that's something that if you're a Detroit Lion fan, with Mike McDaniel, he's not going to stay in Detroit longer than a year or two. If he was going to be in Detroit, where Drew Petzing, if it goes well, you'll sign him for 2 years, and then you know what? You can extend his contract, or you can have him just let him go. It just depends, and I guess it would be easier to know that a offense of coordinator will probably stay on your team longer than a guy like Mike McDaniel, who probably will be leaving regardless for a new head coaching job. He is going to the Chargers. I have no idea what the contract looks like, the Chargers. And I think Jim Harbaugh is the type of guy that will sign him no matter what, to knowing that he'll probably be there only 1 or 2 years. Okay. And I think with San Diego, they're a pass more concept with their quarterback. I can't get that in my head where the quarterback, but the Chargers are throw the ball heavier than Detroit will be. Again, in Detroit with Petzing, I think he'll be able to stabilize everything, where he'll be able to put things together and balance the playing calls for Detroit. And I think that's what helped him along with Jared Goff, because Jared Goff is not going to be your mobile quarterback. So you need someone like Petzing who's willing to have play calls for a tight end to also protect Jared Goff. So when you have a tight end catching the balls, blocking, if you have the ball being rushed by Gibbs and Montgomery and then thrown to St. Brown and Williams and Tesla, it balanced the core, it balanced everything out, and then Detroit be a lot further ahead. It won't be so obvious on a running play or a passing call or a passing play or whatever, a first, second down or third down ratio. So the options are more open for Detroit with Petzing as the offense coordinator. I will talk. I'm going to have to talk about baseball. Now, there's two stories I want to talk about baseball. One story is obviously for those who are Yankee fans out there. Corey Bellinger is going to be signing with the Yankees for 5 years, 168 million. He will uh, I think he receives a $20 million signing bonus. He'll have the opportunity to opt out of this contract in year 2027 and year 2028. And this pretty much sets it off for Corey Bellinger. I think the fact that the Dodgers picked up Kyle Tucker, Corey Bellinger was not going to be going back home to the Dodgers, and and with um, and with Cashman of the Yankees GM, they were talking about how they wanted to keep Bellinger in there. And remember, Bellinger's dad has a history with playing with the Yankees in the glory days of the 90s, late 90s and early 2000s. So that's something to kind of consider. Like, you don't think he was going to go anywhere. I didn't think he was going to go anywhere. So that's something that in itself, for the Yankee fan out there, if you enjoy that, there you go. I can't really tell you one way or another if that's going to make the team better or worse. You're going to get a good hitter, a good outfielder, really balanced athlete, batting guy, on base percentage as well. But I guess the main story we got to talk about is this guy, Kyle Tucker. I tell you what, folks, Kyle Tucker. The Yankees are. The Dodgers are basically eating everything up on everybody's plate. They're basically a team that will take every type of contract and try to make it happen. And that's what they did with Kyle Tucker. Kyle Tucker will get rewarded $64 million signing bonus. He's being signed for 4 years, $240 million, and basically for the 2026 season, he'll have uh, uh, $57 million on the plate for that first year. A lot of baseball analysts, a lot of baseball people are quite disappointed in this because the Dodgers are everywhere. The Dodgers are everywhere. The last time the Dodgers won the last time a small market team won a World Series was in 2015 with the Kansas City Royals. So, is this good for baseball? No, I don't think so. I think this is something that people again going to get really sick of real quick, really fast. They're not going to want to watch the Dodgers win another World Series. It's going to be difficult if you're not from LA. It's going to be difficult from anyone that's a small market team to follow their own team and then think that their team has a shot to win a World Series, even if they have a great year. So let's say that Arizona Diamondbacks have a great year. They could have a great year, but this is the problem. They're not going to have 4 good pitchers on their teams, and with the bullpen and with the guys on at bat, they might have 2 good hitters, or I should say, they might get 2 or 3 great hitters. But when you got the Dodgers have Mookie Betts, Will Smith, Max Muncy, Teo Hernandez, Kyle Tucker, Freddie Freeman, Shohei Ohtani. The list keeps going on and on. So I don't think this is a good idea for baseball to just stack one big team, just try and make a franchise and make an historical event. This isn't not natural. So this is not natural. It's natural in a way that you can buy with no salary cap. It is natural that the wealthy gets richer and the poor gets poor, but it's not natural to have all these guys on the same payroll. There needs to be something to be changed. And if you agree with me, let me know. Follow me. Give me your feedback. Um, I do always appreciate it. You can follow me on YouTube, Patreon, and wherever you download your podcast. Peace, love, and I'm out of here. Let's go sports.